What's up, YouTube? It's Thursday. Thursday Night Football just ended. The Bills end up losing to the New York Jets 37-31. And I'm not going to lie, I thought the game was going to be a lot closer, and I thought it was going to be not an offensive explosion that it was, because there were a lot of big plays in this game. I thought it was going to be a defensive matchup. You know, Rex Ryan has a reputation of having great defenses. Todd Bowles, defensive coach, and they had a great defense last year. So I thought it was going to be a real defensive struggle, and that wasn't the case. Ryan Fitzpatrick went to work, threw over 100 yards. Had almost three receivers that were over 100 yards almost. Quincy Enunwa, I never heard of him before this game. He showed up, had 92 yards, and man, he had a couple of tough catches. And you know what? He kind of reminded me of a baby T.O. Like he was just that big, and he was babying those DBs. So he had a coming out party today. Brandon Marshall, he did what he had to do, over 100 yards receiving. Scary moment when he got tackled. I thought it was a ACL type injury where you're out for most of the year, because especially when your knee buckles that way or twists that way, it's usually a bad news bears. But thankfully he came back in the game and still dominated. Eric Decker, he had over 120 yards and a touchdown. So it was an arsenal for the Jets, and I don't think they have that kind of explosiveness coming into this game. And then obviously Matt Forte, he had 100 yards, 3 touchdowns for all you fantasy owners. I bet you guys are happy that you started him today. And then this a quick note. I mean, the Bears are really got to be kicking themselves because, one, they let go Brandon Marshall too soon. Then they just let Matt Forte just walk. They didn't re-sign him. And I know they have Jeremy Langford, and he might be legit this year. But man, Matt Forte looked like he had a whole lot of tread on his tires. So, man, the Bears, whew. But Jay Cutler's still there, so let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it right there. But anyway, going back to the game, everybody, in terms of the Bills, everyone wants to blame the defense and their corners. They did get abused, but I thought it was more of a function of, one, the defensive line for the Bills not being able to get consistent pressure, especially at the end of the second half, when they needed stops, they weren't able to get them. The defense looked gassed, and I really blame the offense for that, for the Bills, because outside of the huge 84-yard play where Darrelle Revis got burned for the 84-yard touchdown by Marquise Goodwin, and what is his name, Greg Silas. He had 71-yard touchdown pass. Outside of that, there wasn't really a lot of consistent offense from the Bills. LaShawn McCoy, he didn't get to 70 yards rushing. He had one big run where it was 22 yards in the second half. But outside of that, the offense was really consistent. The real reason why it was close is because, one, those big plays, and two, the fumble recovery for a touchdown. That's really what made the game close for the Bills. But other than that, the offense really struggled. I thought it was anemic. So the Bills have got to find a way moving forward to find some kind of offensive rhythm where they just can't rely on big plays. They have to have consistent plays. So hopefully they can deal with that. But I really thought that was the big Achilles heel for the Bills, because they had so many 3-and-outs. They didn't even get to the red zone until the fourth quarter, where Gillislee got the 18-yard touchdown pass from Tyrod Taylor. That was the only time they were in the end zone. So that in the red zone, excuse me. So that really shows you how anemic that offense was for the Bills. And when anybody who knows anything about sports, when you're on the field, it's about football. When you're on the field that long, you're just gonna get wear down, and defense wore down. And you saw that on Matt Forte's last touchdown, where he just ran by all the DBs. They didn't want to tackle him because they were gassed, and that's really what I thought was the issue, especially leading into the second half. The corners, the defensive line couldn't get any pressure, so corners got tired and they couldn't cover for 2 to 3 seconds, and you just saw wide receivers Eric Decker, Brandon Marshall, and Enunwa just running free. And that was really the difference in the game. Defense stayed out there way too long. And the Jets, they were smart about it. They were methodical. They had big plays mixing with timely runs. So kudos to Ryan Fitzpatrick, because I know that all the reports that he has struggled against Rex Ryan's defense or Rex Ryan team. Didn't look like that today. 300 yards passing, 1 touchdown. Matt Forte, 3 touchdowns. Honestly, I'm impressed with the Jets. They look going forward. They look to be like a legit team. The problem is, can they be consistent? That's really the real question. But I think they will going on from this game. I think they learned a lot how to not lose a game, how to seal off a team, because the Bills, to their credit, did fight for most of the game, and it was a close game. The Bills did lose only by 6 points, but for the most part, you really thought the Jets were in control of this game, and that it's got to do wonders for their confidence that, hey, they were in control for most of the game. The Bills had a little spark. They tried to come back, but the Jets made timely plays to seal off the victory. So kudos to all you Jets fans. Bills fans, I know everyone's talking about Rex Ryan being on a hot seat and he might be fired, especially with their upcoming schedule with Arizona and the Patriots. And I'm just like, dude's only been there for a year. Give him some time. But I will admit, they might have to change their offensive philosophy, and they might have to get more weapons to surround Tyrod Taylor and Sammy Watkins, because Sammy Watkins can't do it by himself. And hopefully, he didn't return to the game, so hopefully his foot injury isn't severe. But there's just not a lot of offensive weapons that complement each other on this Bills offense. Maybe it's Tyrod Taylor. I will admit he had one bad throw where Sammy Watkins had his defenseman beat, and Tyrod Taylor just underthrew it and it ended up being an interception. So Tyrod Taylor's got to play better. I know people are enamored with his mobility, but he's got to find better. He's got to find a way to make better throws. Marquise Goodwin and the tight end Charles Clay, they had some bad drops, and you gotta come up with some tough catches, especially in this offense where it's not it's explosive, but it's not like consistent. So you got to make those catches for your quarterback, who I think has been struggling the first 2 games. He's had a couple of big plays, but consistently he hasn't made those throws that a regular quarterback has to make, or upper echelon quarterback has to make. So you got to help your quarterback out. But anyway, I don't think if they lose, if they go 0-4, I don't think Rex Ryan will get fired. But that's just me. The Jets, conversely, I think they're trending upwards. The Bills got their work cut out for them. So that's really my take on the offense, the game for Thursday Night Football. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think Rex Ryan's going to get fired if they go 0-4? Do you think he's even on the hot seat? And tell me what you think about the Jets. Do you think they can trend upwards and actually make some noise this year in the regular season and in the playoffs? Let me know. Leave comments. And as always, thank you again for watching. And please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Letteris Sports Show. Good night, everybody.